strongly condemn the DMK government. So the DMK government is not bothered about those sacrifice them life, but now they are with the hands to the terrorists. They are supporting to the terrorists.
Madam, it only shows to what level DMK government is involved in minority appeasement. On coming Friday, they will observe a Black Day in Coimbatore.
BJP will talk any nonsense. For a funeral procession, who can stop a funeral procession?
जो आदमी मर गया, खत्म हो गया बात। जीते जी जो गुनाह किया उसको सजा मिल गई, जेल में रहा। मरने के बाद तो सब चीजें नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारे यहाँ की मरने के बाद किसी इंसान की बुराई मत करो।
एक आदमी अगर वो कन्विक्ट था और उसके बाद उसकी डेथ हो गई तो उसका फ्यूनरल निकालने में हर्ज क्या है?
Viewers, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Pratibha. Today, let's rewind to one of the darkest chapters of Tamil Nadu's political history. The year was 1998. LK Advani, then a big force in politics, was in Coimbatore for an election rally when bombings ripped through the city. It left 58 people killed and over 200 people injured. A series of 12 bomb attacks in 11 different places, all within 12-kilometer radius. These explosives were hidden in cars, motorcycles, bicycles, bags, fruit carts, you name it. An investigation later revealed that the blasts were part of a larger conspiracy to target LK Advani, and the architect of all of these bombings was the man that you're seeing on the screens, S.A. Basha. He's the founder of the radical Islamist group Al-Ummah that has been banned as a terror organization in India. Now, that happened in 1998. Cut to today, the visuals on the screens, just look at them closely. The man who was convicted as the mastermind of those attacks, he was given a hero's farewell. Look at the amount of crowd that has gathered there. Look at the visuals on your screens that show you what I'm talking about. Huge procession. You'd see such crowds for a hero, someone who has achieved something. But imagine the shock of the country when one realized that this procession was in fact for the man who was sentenced to life for being the chief conspirator of the blasts that killed several innocents and could have possibly ended more lives if his mission had actually worked according to what he had planned. But what's worse is that political leaders from the India bloc are also falling over each other to eulogize him, calling him a protector of Muslims who lived his life with courage. In fact, the VCK has also tweeted, it's a key ally of the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu. And the police, the Tamil Nadu police, had provided 2,000 plus security for the funeral of this man. The question is, does he deserve it? What are the compulsions that the India bloc have that such a man is being hailed today as a hero? That such a man is not called a terrorist, that he is. But in fact, it's not even an accusation. He's convicted of his crimes, and yet there seems to be a lot of hesitation. There's an attempt to go beyond what the court has convicted him of to call him a martyr. That brings us to our 5 questions this evening. The biggest question is, why didn't the state stop a procession for a terrorist? The state was well aware that a procession will be carried out for a convicted terrorist, and yet the state remained a mute spectator, taking no action, allowing it, sending police officials as well for the procession to be taking place. The question is, why was permission given for Basha's funeral procession? Is the India alliance partner backing Basha to fetch votes? Remember, we showed you the visuals of how people had gone and attended this funeral. Several people, hundreds of them going for this funeral. But it's not just that. There was a representative from the government. The VCK is a key ally of the DMK, officially a part of the funeral procession. The VCK has even gone on to defend it, calling him a martyr for Muslims, somebody who was working for the rights of the Muslims. So is the alliance partner backing Basha very clearly intended towards vote bank. And why are the India Alliance Netas silent on this terror glorification? Some of them even coming out in defense of it. The question is, if the DMK now comes out to say, we are not a part of it, the DMK leaders have said that we were not part of the procession, it was a procession that was taking place, what can we do about it? So now that VCK has openly backed Basha, openly backed terror, will the DMK and the Congress party take a stand now and snap ties with the VCK for openly supporting terror? These are the questions. We have guests joining us this evening. Narayan Tirupati of the BJP, SS Sri Ram, political analyst, Khaliqur Rahman, political analyst, and Dr. Pulla Rao, another political analyst, joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Pulla Rao, I would want to begin with you. The DMK comes out to say, we were not part of the procession. What can we do if a funeral procession is taking place? Perhaps the state could have refused permission for a procession, giving him a hero's farewell. Perhaps 2,000 plus police deployment was not required for something like this?
Let me tell you, the best thing the state did was to let this pass. It's over. When you ban something, then there'll be violence. This is what happened. Somebody died, somebody wants to go to this procession. You can't stop it.
But it's not somebody who has died. This is a convicted terrorist, a man who is convicted of killing over 58 people.
I heard you. If you don't let me talk for 2 minutes, I am happy to listen. Let the others talk, madam. I have no problem. I don't want to grab space. Let me talk.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll give the others.
Okay, let me give you all your time. Go ahead, sir.
See, first of all, what's wrong with the procession? Those who like him or those who don't like him, they'll go to his procession. Sometimes people go to others' processions whom they don't like also. They'll go. The state government, it's a law and order issue would have arisen anywhere, any state. I'm not saying it here. In any other state also. The best thing is they allowed this funeral procession to take place. And they brought the police so that there's no violence. Either way, that's the right thing to do. Say they sent 25 policemen or 50 policemen. There were incidents. You would have said the same thing, and my friend Mr. Narayan Tripathi might have said there was no law and order. They did the right thing. The event is over. It's goodbye. Very sad somebody died. And then you should go to the anti.
Okay, if you'll allow me, sir, I just want to point out, apart from the police deployment, VCK is a part of the government. It's a key ally of the DMK. I just want to read out from what Tol Tirumavallavan has said. He says that he lived his life with courage, without wavering in his principles. What are these principles that he is talking about?
I think he'll be very thankful to you for giving him publicity. He is not known outside Tamil Nadu. Now you're giving him and making him nationally known. He'll be very thankful to you that you have brought his name to the national screen.
Okay, so you're saying he's a nobody.
So how can, for example, the BJP has got many allies, and some of them will say something. They're not on the same page. There are, otherwise they would all be in the same party. They would all have the same constitution. They would all be sitting in the same office. Therefore, you have made somebody, all of us are wondering, VCK, what is this? They have one MP somewhere. And, now he's become a figure where I think, sometimes you should...
Okay, since he's a nobody, the question is, will the DMK and the Congress party come out to snap ties with him? Can they come out and say that this is not a stand that we back, we are not backing terror, and snap ties with him? I just want to take a response, sir, if you'll allow me, from SS Sri Ram. Mr. SS Sri Ram, do you agree with what he is saying? What's wrong if we carry out a funeral? A man has died. Many people wanted to be a part of it. The DMK also decided to provide police deployment for it. VCK is a nobody. Who is VCK to call him anything? Why are we questioning the India bloc for that?
Not at all. This is condemnable. I mean, we have lost 65 lives. He was a convicted person. We are not questioning his death, but adding color to religion and to glorify him is one never accept. For this government, a Ganesh Chaturthi procession will bring in communal tension. For this Tamil Nadu government, an RSS peaceful march will bring in communal tension. For this government, anything that for Hindus will bring in communal tension. But a glorified terrorist because of whom the state went into such a shock, the district, even today, Coimbatore has not really come up the way it should have come up for those uneasiness. And not just about 2 years ago, we saw a very narrow escape of a cooker blast that could have probably shattered the state and the district again. And this is so playful for these people to brush aside and say, no, what has happened with it? There are 2,000 police security for this. This is shameful and condemnable. And just to brush aside Mr. Tirumavalan is nothing. Mr. Pullara, please have heart when you talk on all this. You're sitting on a national channel, whether it is... No, let me complete, please. Let me complete. Hold on. Whether it is in Tamil Nadu, whether it is the youth of this nation across the country, watch this. And what message are you sending to such people? To glorify a terrorist is just not acceptable, and you must have had the courage to accept, yes, it was a fault for you to keep, doing a fiddle with this government. I'm sorry to say this, but that is what you did.
And RSS, when it wanted to carry out a march, a peaceful march, when they had approached the Tamil Nadu government, they were refused permission and they were told that it can lead to law and order problems, that we don't have enough police officials for their deployment. Khalikur Rahman, can the DMK government really get away by just saying, there could have been an incident, that's why security was provided? 2,000 plus police officials deployed for the funeral procession of a terrorist. The VCK coming out in support of it. DMK saying, what's wrong? Once a person has died, there's a funeral. What can we do about it?
See, the world knows, everyone knows, and in fact, you are now trying to make him again a hero on your channel by saying all these things. Who is being made a hero? See, he died...
Basha, by listing out what he was convicted of?
No.
No, don't press aside.
He passed away and his last rites were performed. Wasting our time to talk about all this nonsense, actually, if you ask me. Because
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because just because he has died, it does not absolve him of what he is convicted of.
I'm not saying that you can absolve him. But now, he has already... passed away, his funeral is already taken place, and now what is the point in discussing about all these issues when we have got many more important issues concerning the nation?
But this is the hua to hua mindset that the India bloc is known for. The Congress party said hua to hua even for riots, and we all know what the fate is. Narayan Tirupati, do you agree with what Khalikur Rahman is saying? He is saying it's done now, the procession is done. Why are we talking about it? There were hundreds of people who came in. There are several leaders of the India bloc who are now hailing him as a hero, but it's okay.
No, both Mr. Khalikur Rahman and Mr. Pullar Rao, as if they said, they are speaking very softly. But remember, the man who died was a blatant terrorist. He is a very big dreaded terrorist. We need to understand. He has killed 58 people. 200 people got injured. The entire Coimbatore, entire Tamil Nadu was in ruins. We need to understand this. He is a convicted criminal. He was on parole. We all have to understand that. Mr. Khalikur Rahman said, it was just a funeral. Sir, there is nothing wrong. The last rites should be allowed. Mr. Khalikur Rahman, I'm telling you, please. It should be allowed. Yes. Anyone has got the right to have his last rites, but not at the cost of what? Bringing all these Muslim people together. You know what all they said? Allahu Akbar was sung there. He is not a religious. See, I respect religions. I respect Islam. I respect Christianity. But in the name of religion, they have given farewell to this man yesterday. See, there are only two things. Whether either the government they want to vote of minorities, the Muslim votes. That is, they think that if they allow this procession, the Muslim will vote. Number two, they think they are afraid of this particular community. They are afraid of these terrorist outfits. Otherwise, the government would not have supported this. Easily, the government would have said, from the hospital directly, the body would have been taken to the burial ground. That should have happened because he is a jailed convict. He is only on parole.
And Dr. Pullar Rao, does it not seem that the DMK or the VCK is insulting Muslims when you say he is a martyr for the Muslims, that he spoke for the Muslim cause? He is a convicted terrorist. Are you accusing the common Muslims of the country of patronizing somebody like him, of seeing him as a hero?
Who is a leader?
See, I'm really surprised. The Constitution gives us freedom of speech. I'll say something, anybody will say something. And why they are saying, if the person is feeling insulted, sometimes they'll bear it, sometimes they'll retort. I have not heard any retorts. As Mr. Rahman said, No, everybody would have forgotten this by 5 o'clock today.
But Mr. Khaliqur Rahman, the India bloc is holding a constitution every single day of their lives. When the court has convicted a man, called him a terrorist, what is the need, what is the compulsion to not call him a terrorist, to call him a hero instead?
Who is saying that? You are saying that. You have brought this.
I'll tell you who is saying that. I think you have not. I will tell you. The
Mr.
VCK
Basha,
leader,
you are
VCK
sure?
is a part of the DMK. The DMK is in government in Tamil Nadu. The VCK is calling him a martyr. Is saying that he is a messiah for Muslims, according to the VCK. Saying that his demise is a great loss to Muslims. Why is it a great loss to Muslims? The Muslims of this country don't support terrorists.
We don't subscribe to what VCK has said.
Okay, so would you, okay, so Mr. Khaliqur Rahman, would you now take a stand and say, as a Muslim in the country, you want the India bloc to take a stand, snap ties with the VCK? If the VCK has come out and made such a statement against Muslims, snap ties with the VCK and end the alliance with the VCK.
No, we have got. And
it's not just VCK, I'll tell you, there are NC leaders, Samajwadi Party leaders as well.
That I have not heard actually. That is again coming through you on your channel. Why are you trying to glorify what is already a chapter which is closed? And again you are trying to bring back.
Who's trying to glorify? Mr. Khaliqur Rahman, the issue is that there are hundreds of people who have come out for this procession and the government is refusing to take action. You know, we would not be having this conversation had the DMK government just stepped in and said, we can't allow this procession. It's not a tamasha. We are not going to have hundreds of people come in as a funeral procession for a terrorist and glorify him as a hero. You know, hero's farewell is not something we're going to accord to him. And if that permission was not given, then we would not be having this conversation. If the DMK had taken a stand and said, this is a terrorist, the court of this country has called him a convicted terrorist, we are not going to stand for him. That's a stand that the DMK could have taken. And you're right, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'll have to leave it at that. Thanking you, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. But it raises several questions and some uncomfortable questions for not just the DMK as well as the VCK and the Congress party, but for the entire India bloc that has now come out not to call him a terrorist when he is convicted, but to come out and hail him and say there's nothing wrong with this funeral procession.